Some moments feel utterly ordinary as you live them. It's only with the cruel clarity of hindsight that you see them for what they truly were. The exact second your entire world began to pivot. Arthur, at 63, was a good man. A kind man. The sort of man who believed he was taking care of everyone he loved. So when he insisted his beloved nephew Liam stay with us, I never imagined it was the prelude to my undoing. The serious look on his face is still etched in my mind. "Clara," he'd said, his hand on my shoulder, "Liam is a sensitive soul. He doesn't sleep well. Look after him, will you? He needs to find his footing before university." How could I have known that the long-awaited call about the country house would finally come, that Arthur would have to leave for 3 days to see it, leaving me utterly alone with the very boy he'd asked me to protect. Liam, at 22, was decidedly not a boy. His tall frame, the broad set of his shoulders, the quiet confidence that had replaced adolescent awkwardness, it all spoke of a man. But to Arthur, he would always be his little nephew. And to me, I'd always felt a strange, fluttering warmth around him, a current of excitement I worked tirelessly to suppress. There was just something about the way he looked at me. But this? The thought of 3 days alone with him set my nerves alight, a confusing mix of thrill and dread. As Arthur got into the car, he gave me a final warm smile. "3 days will fly by, my love," he said. He had no idea he was leaving a match next to a fuse. The moment the car disappeared, the air in the house changed. Liam walked over to me, adjusting the strap of his bag on his shoulder. When his eyes met mine, it was with that same mischievous, yet disarmingly sincere smile he'd always had. "Looks like it's just us now, Clara," he said. His voice was relaxed, but it carried a new, undeniable depth that vibrated right through me. In that moment, a strange excitement took hold. I couldn't have predicted what would happen that night, but I knew, with a terrifying certainty, that nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, I was in the kitchen, the quiet of the house feeling more pronounced, more intimate, without Arthur's presence. The sound of footsteps on the stairs broke the silence. Liam appeared in the doorway, dressed in a simple t-shirt, his hair still tousled from sleep. He looked both effortlessly casual and strikingly handsome. "Good morning, Clara," he said, his voice soft. His eyes held mine directly, a faint, knowing smile playing on his lips. "Something smells incredible. What are you making?" Before I could answer, he was beside me. He leaned in close, his hand coming to rest lightly on the small of my back. The touch was unexpected, electric. "It smells delicious," he added, his tone playful yet genuinely warm. "Just a classic breakfast," I said, hoping my voice didn't betray the tremor in my hands. "Would you like some?" "I'll eat anything you make," he replied, his eyes doing a slow, deliberate scan of me, from my eyes down to my hands and back again. It felt less like he was in the kitchen, and more like he was in my space, my head. Sitting at the table, the space between us felt charged, smaller. He spoke in his usual laid-back manner, but the undertone was different, sharper. "You know, Clara," he began, his gaze steady. "You are incredibly striking for your age." The words were so direct they made me set my fork down. A faint heat rushed to my cheeks. "Liam, you shouldn't say things like that," I said, forcing a soft laugh. "Thank you, but you're exaggerating." "I'm not exaggerating," he stated, his eyes not wavering. "If I were in my uncle's place, I wouldn't leave." You alone for a single second. I was speechless, scrambling for a subject change. I stood quickly, gathering the empty plates. Liam just leaned back in his chair, his intense gaze tracking my every move, making my heart pound a frantic rhythm against my ribs. We should celebrate, he announced suddenly, breaking the heavy silence. Uncle told me you're finally buying the house. It would be a shame not to mark the occasion. It's not finalized yet, I replied, a small involuntary smile touching my lips. But, sure, we can celebrate. Let's do something tonight. Just the two of us, he said, his voice firm. You should dress up. Wear something nice. We'll take pictures, send them to Uncle. We'll tell him not to come back until the deal is done because we've already started the party. Ahan paused, his eyes gleaming. What do you think? His words hung in the air, a challenge and an invitation. Arthur's description of a sensitive boy echoed in my mind, a stark contrast to the bold, self-assured man now filling the kitchen with his potent energy. I couldn't let him down, could I? Maybe he did need this. Or perhaps, a voice whispered, it was I who needed it. I spent the afternoon preparing his favorite meal, a rich chicken curry, creamy pasta, a fresh herb salad. The act felt domestic, yet charged with a new, secret intention. Once everything was simmering, I went upstairs. In the back of my wardrobe, I found it, a deep emerald dress I hadn't worn in years. Slipping it on, I studied my reflection. It still fit, hugging curves I'd thought forgotten. It felt bold. It felt right. When I descended the stairs, Liam was waiting in the living room. He'd changed into a crisp white shirt, and the appreciative once-over he gave me made my breath catch. That dress is absolutely stunning on you, Clara, he said, his admiration palpable. Thank you, Liam. You look very handsome yourself, I managed, my cheeks warming. He smiled, pulling out my chair at the beautifully set table. Dinner was a dance of wit and warmth, but his gaze lingered on me a moment too long, his laughter a fraction too intimate. The air thickened with an unspoken promise. This would not be an ordinary night. Leaning in, his voice dropped to a deep, intimate murmur. Thank you for tonight, Clara. Everything is perfect, but I think it could be even better. More exciting. His eyes held a look I couldn't decipher. Longing, desire, leaving me flustered and achingly aware of my own racing heart. Noticing my unease, he grinned, a playful attempt to lighten a mood he alone had charged. Let's call Uncle, he declared, pulling out his phone. Before I could protest, he was behind my chair, his hands resting lightly on my shoulders. The warmth of his touch sent a shiver straight through me. His breath was close to my ear, a tangible caress. When Arthur's face appeared, Liam was all cheerful charm. Uncle, we've started the celebration without you. He panned the camera across the table, and then it was on me, with Liam right behind, his face close to mine, his hands possessive on my shoulders. Arthur chuckled, the sound full of delight. So I shouldn't come back until I've bought the place, is that it? Exactly, Liam replied, his fingers subtly brushing my skin. I wanted to pull away, but I couldn't spoil Arthur's happiness. All right, Arthur laughed. I'll see the house and head back soon. You two enjoy yourselves. The call ended, and I released a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. I thought of Liam's past visits, mischievous but endearing. This was different. His boldness was intoxicating, stirring feelings I'd buried deep. How long had it been since Arthur truly saw me? His world was work, leaving me feeling invisible. Now, with just a few hours of Liam's focused attention, I was achingly aware of how much I missed being desired. Being seen. Lost in thought. I didn't notice him move until a soft, romantic melody began to play from the speakers. He turned, his expression calm, yet fiercely determined. He stepped closer, his hand extended. Clara, he said, his voice gentle but undeniable, dance with me. My heart hammered against my chest. Liam, are you sure? My voice was a whisper. I'm sure. It's just a dance. Don't we deserve a little fun? In that moment, all my confusion gave way to a single, powerful urge. I placed my hand in his, and a spark ignited at the contact dot. He guided me to the center of the room, one hand on my waist, the other holding mine. Then, he switched off the lights, leaving us in the flickering glow of the table's candles. The atmosphere turned magical, intimate. We began to move, his hand tightening on my waist. When I looked up, his gaze was locked on me, filled with a raw passion that unraveled me completely. As we swayed, the space between us vanished. His face drew nearer, his breath warm on my skin. Any thought of resistance crumbled to dust. He leaned down, his voice a whisper that seared into my soul. I can feel it, Clara. The youth and desire inside you. I see it in your eyes. That need to break free from the monotony, even for a moment. You don't see it, but that longing radiates from you. It's what keeps you forever young. His words sent a torrent of chaos and excitement through me. I was losing the fight against what he was awakening. Liam, what are you doing to me? I murmured, trembling. You're pulling out everything I've tried to bury. He paused, his eyes searching mine. But there's a truth about you that even you don't know. My eyes stayed fixed on his, desperate. What truth? Tell me. I like you, Clara. I like you a lot. But the real truth is you can't keep suppressing this. You've shut yourself away for so long, hiding everything you feel deep inside. His voice was a mix of tenderness and fierce conviction. It's time to stop. A storm raged inside me. My lips parted, but no sound came out. I was terrified, and yet, I had never longed for anything more. He stared at me for a heartbeat longer. Then, he closed the final distance between us. His lips met mine, and it was not a question but an answer. A fire, long smothered, roared to life within me. It was a kiss of pure passion, an explosion of every emotion I'd ever locked away. My heart hammered against my ribs, a wild, frantic drum, and yet as I kissed him back, I surrendered completely, letting the delicious flames consume me. He pulled back just an inch, his breathing ragged. Just like that, he whispered, his voice thick with certainty. I knew you felt this too. His words held such raw confidence that when his mouth found mine again, the idea of resistance was absurd. This kiss was deeper, more intense. My body arched instinctively toward his, my hands gripping his shoulders for balance, for anchor. I was overwhelmed by his boldness, swept away by the sheer magic of the moment. Yes, I admitted, the word a breathy sigh against his lips. I won't deny it anymore. Even if it was wrong, I wanted to experience everything. My hands, moving on their own volition, reached for the thin straps of my emerald dress. In one fluid motion, I pulled them down. The silk whispered against my skin, pooling at my feet. The cool air was a shock, but it was nothing compared to the heat of his gaze. I saw the shock and pure, unadulterated admiration in Liam's eyes as he looked at me. A faint, daring smile touched my lips. Didn't you say you liked things to move quickly, Liam? He froze for a single, suspended second, his eyes dark with desire. Clara, he murmured, a low growl of my name. But words were finished. His hands found my waist, and in that touch, we both knew there was no turning back. The pull was absolute, inevitable. His arms wrapped firmly around me, guiding me toward the couch. The music still played, the candlelight danced, making the room a world unto itself. My heart raced as everything took on a surreal, dreamlike quality. I gave myself over to it completely. He slowly removed his shirt, letting it fall beside my discarded dress. The last barrier between us vanished, As I lay back, he leaned over me, his movements deliberate, savoring. He positioned himself, his knees on either side of me, closing the final distance. Our breaths mingled, our bodies almost touching. My eyes locked on his, drawn into the raw hunger and unwavering certainty burning there. His warmth seemed to seep into my very bones. When his breath feathered against my neck, I shivered, anticipation coiling tight within me. "Are you ready?" he whispered, his voice low and intense. His gaze held mine, filled with a longing that felt like a vow, the beginning of something that could never be undone. My lips parted. I tried to steady my breathing, my thoughts a chaotic whirlwind, but I was utterly captivated. "Yes," I whispered, not even trying to hide the thrill in my voice. In that moment, I felt a fundamental shift deep within me. I knew with absolute clarity that everything had changed. His rhythm was quickening, and a thrilling certainty washed over me. He loved this pace. As everything began to accelerate, my body responded on its own. My legs, which I'd almost forgotten, began to tremble and tense. He looked up at me, a wicked grin flashing across his face. "I love this energy," he breathed, reaching out to gently push a strand of hair from my forehead. The song ended, and a new one began, its rhythm only heightening my excitement. We were both glistening with sweat. I felt 25 again. The more I remembered that feeling of youth, the more fervent I became. Liam matched my pace perfectly. Never rough, always exquisitely attentive, as if he already knew every secret my body held. Then he paused. In a fluid motion, we switched places. Now I was above, looking down into his face. I began to move, my own rhythm taking over. His breathing grew ragged, his voice a trembling whisper. "I'm in awe of you," he said. "Your energy." And then his entire body shuddered, and he finally let go. I reached for his hand, lacing my fingers with his. "Come on," I whispered softly. "Let's go to the bed." He rose, steady and sure, and walked with me to the bedroom. The space was bathed in soft, dim candlelight, a calm, peaceful silence wrapping around us. We lay down together, and he immediately wrapped a strong arm around my waist, pulling me close. I rested my head on his chest, listening to the steady, strong beat of his heart. In that moment, the outside world ceased to exist. All that mattered was the profound comfort of being right there. With him. Just before my eyes fluttered closed, I thought of Arthur's return. We still had 2 more days. The thought sent a fresh thrill through me, tangled with a complex web of other emotions. But I refused to let it spoil the magic. I took a long, deep breath and closed my eyes. The whole world was out there, but only this moment mattered. I'm longing to tell you about the 2 days that followed, a whirlwind of passion and stolen moments. But for now, I just want to live in the echo of this one. Trust me, you'll want to stay for the rest. This story is far from over. If this tale has stirred something in you, then you understand the power of a connection that defies everything. There's so much more to come, and you won't want to miss a single chapter of what happens next. Don't forget to follow, turn on notifications, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is just the beginning.